Isaac Newton is considered one of the greatest scientists of all time because he discovered gravity, but gravity is a common sense, right? Things fall, everyone knows that. So why do we act like Newton did something extraordinary? If that's all he did, then yes, he's overrated. This is not an attack on Newton, this is an attack on how we misunderstand genius. Because the moment you think gravity is obvious, you reveal something dangerous. You confuse seeing with understanding. Most people think Newton looked at an apple, saw it fall, and said, "Oh, yes, gravity." End of story. By that topic, any cat is a scientist every time something falls off the table. If physics were just observation, humanity would have finished science in the Stone Age. Newton did not discover that objects fall. People knew that for thousands of years. But what Newton realized was something much more distributing. The force pulling the apple down is the same force holding the moon in orbit. Let that sink in. Earth physics and space physics were not separate things. Before Newton, the universe was split in two. Earth, messy, imperfect, heavens, perfect, divine. The moon was not falling, it was considered something else, something celestial. Newton said, "No, the moon is falling, it's just missing the earth." That sentence alone shattered the spiritual architecture of the cosmos. But then he went further. He didn't just describe gravity, he qualified it. This is where common sense dies. He wrote a law: every mass attracts every other mass. More mass equal more gravity. More distance, weaker gravity. Same rule everywhere. Not just on Earth, not just in the solar system, everywhere, literally. Common sense says what happens. Physics says how much, where, and when. And then comes the laws of motion, the real revolution. First rule: an object in motion stays in motion. An object at rest stays at rest, unless acted on by a force. That sounds harmless, but it destroyed 2000 years of thinking. Before Newton, people believed motion required force. Push something equals it moves. Stop pushing equal it stops. Seems obvious. Newton said no, it stops because of friction. Remove friction and it never stops. Motion is natural. Stopping is what needs explanation. That flips the entire mental model of reality. Second law: force equals mass times acceleration, which is the famous formula F equal ma. Three symbols, that's it. But inside those three symbols is the ability to calculate how fast a cannonball flies, how hard a car crashes, how rockets escape Earth, how planets bend around the sun. Acceleration is not just faster, it is a change in motion. Newton turned motion into numbers. You could now predict the future. Third law: for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Punch a wall, the wall punches back. Rockets don't push off air, they push exhaust backwards and move forward. This law explains walking, swimming, flight, recoil, propulsion. It explains why you can't push the universe without the universe pushing back. These three laws don't just describe objects, they describe how causality behaves. And here is the quiet miracle. They work. Planet orbs, tides, bridges, cannons, steam engines, industrial machines, satellites centuries later. For 300 years, Newton's equations predicted reality with terrifying accuracy. If common sense were reliable, physics wouldn't have existed. Heavier objects fall faster, wrong. Motion needs force, wrong. Earth is still, that's also wrong. Physics exists because reality refuses to behave the way our intuition wants. Newton did not just explain gravity, he turned the universe into a predictable machine. For the first time in history, you could calculate where Mars could be next year, not guess, but calculation. The cosmos went from mystery to precision. Then Einstein came along and said, Newton is not wrong, he's just incomplete. Gravity is not just a force, it's a space-time curving. In extreme gravity, Newton's equation bend, but here is the key. In normal conditions, Newton is still right. Even Einstein stood on Newton's shoulders. You don't overthrow a mind like that, you refine it. Newton is only overrated if you think science is about noticing obvious things, but if science is about turning the universe into maths, if it's about compressing reality into symbols that predict the future, then Newton was not obvious, he was terrifying, precise. Gravity feels like common sense today because Newton already did the impossible thinking for us. The greatest ideas always look obvious after someone pleads for them. Thank you for watching this video, and if you like it, please press the like button and share it. Also comment for the next video either you want a new science idea or explanation. I would love to do that. Thank you for watching and bye for now.